think most people will be unprepared for what is to come.
Yeah, and we hear talk of a so-called freedom movement or a so-called truth movement.
Yeah.
But if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. If the Son of Man sets you free, not a freedom movement.
That's it.
And the truth movement. Well, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. So if you are not in Christ and you are pursuing truth, then you are in a different level of deception.
Yes.
And you also hear the phrase waking up. People talk about waking up. When did you wake up? And so on.
Yeah.
And again, awake, O sleeper, and rise from the dead, and Christ will shine his light on you. That is the authentic waking up. That is the authentic freedom. That is the authentic truth. And everything else is just a pale imitation and counterfeit. And this is something I talk about with the so-called medical freedom movement too. There is so much deception that is put in the way with that. And the big names in the so-called medical freedom movement, what they're doing is they are trimming the weeds of medical tyranny, but they are not getting to the root. So for instance, they'll say, well, this disease or these circumstances are not serious enough to warrant having these countermeasures, be it masks or vaccines. No. Medical compulsion is eternally unlawful.
Yeah.
No matter what the circumstances are, or no matter what serums have been produced or whatever claims have been made for them. And they also make statements about, well, this emergency is not bad enough.
Yeah.
And again, now this is something that's encapsulated in the Siracusa principles. So other than me and Anna de Buisseret, who is now dead, I think she was cancelled out of the picture. Very few people.
Gosh, this is sad news. I didn't know that. So sorry to hear this, Gosh. Wow.
So she was the one who, it was her testimony that first made me aware of the Siracusa principles, which state no emergency or rights are not derogable under any emergency.
Yes.
Even for the asserted purpose of preserving the life of the nation.
Yeah.
But how many people do you hear quoting the Siracusa principles or the Universal Declaration on Bioethics and Human Rights or the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, which makes it a crime against humanity to persecute an identifiable group, which is exactly what politicians were doing by saying, well, if you haven't had the jab, you're not allowed access. You have to pay extra taxes or whatever it is.
Yes.
All of these crimes against humanity, but they're not talking about it because most of the so-called medical freedom movement is a limited hangout. And this is something I want to say. Forced medicine is eternally unlawful, yesterday, today, and forever. And when it comes to exemptions, exemptions are a lie.
Yeah.
Because the word no is, always has been, and always will be, exemption enough.
That's it.
And the other thing is medical confidentiality. If you don't know a man or woman's or child's medical status, then you cannot persecute them on the basis of it. And that makes the whole question of exemptions completely moot.
Yeah. It's terrible. And I can see, you're getting very agitated, but it's like the controlled opposition within the so-called freedom movement, isn't it? And I've been going through those layers, like when you realize, wait a minute, what are they really preaching? What are they really? In the beginning, they were pushing ivermectin as a sort of alternative, but then a few years later, I realized that ivermectin is also a pharmaceutical product. So it's just the controlled opposition when it.
Another reason I'm agitated is because of all the carnage that happened in hospitals and nursing homes, by which people were euthanized against their will.
Yeah.
And one major mechanism of that euthanization was to, first of all, ask someone's vaccination status when they came in. Well, that's none of their fucking business. You don't need to tell any hospital that.
Yeah. And
the other one was to say you have to get a COVID test before you can get any treatment. Well, no, you don't. And this is in the Universal Declaration on Bioethics and Human Rights. No preventive, diagnostic, and medical treatment without informed consent. So what is preventive or claimed to be? Masks, jabs, quarantines, lockdowns, and all of that shit. What is diagnostic or claimed to be are the tests. So if the medical freedom movement and the prominent voices in the medical freedom movement have been telling people, when you go into a hospital, refuse the test, not only is that your inborn right to refuse the test, is also in the Universal Declaration on Bioethics and Human Rights, how many lives would have been saved? And that's part of the frustration for me. This is why I've been shouting at the podcasts and interviews.